we just lost.
What?
God! Son of a bitch!
I've always been a huge fan of any action games or films that are based in the feudal Japan era, involving samurai and ninjas, whether it be fictional, non-fictional, or just plain crazy supernatural. I particularly loved games like Tenchu, Onimusha, and more recently Nioh. I decided to get Ghost of Tsushima, being a little worried by the gameplay due to the relatively polarized critic response it got. Can I just start off by asking why the hell this game got worse reviews than The Last of Us 2? I loved this one so much more. Better story, more interesting gameplay, and more content. It's actually almost like a masterpiece. Almost. You see, for me, it's like an Outer Worlds situation where there's just too many small nuances that prevent it from being like game of the generation quality, but not bad enough that it would keep it from still being a strong game of the year contender, which it definitely is. And it is for this reason that I am going to do what I did with my Outer Worlds review and switch you over to my good friend and apprentice, Doppelganger Tard, to spare me the shit sprinkled around an otherwise delicious 5-star dessert. Dr. Tard, would you do the honors?
Thanks, Darian. Hello, everyone. It's your friendly neighborhood Ganger Tard, coming to you with another episode of, Nitpicker's Guide to the Galaxy. And for this one, I'm going to talk about various small issues or technical mishaps for the new PS4 game Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know how to say that word. It's a really big one. Anyway, there was one bug during a mission where you have to investigate clues, and in one instance, Darian got stuck in the example animation and couldn't get out. He tried jumping, attacking, calling his horse for help. He even tried fiddling around with the game's photo editor mode, but to no avail. All he really had to do, though, was quit the game and reload the last checkpoint, so it's not really that game-breaking, but still annoying as fuck. In his words, not mine. Next, the camera during combat. Since the game doesn't really have a lock-on mechanic, you're kind of forced to move the camera angle on your own with the right stick while trying to avoid incoming attacks. There were also occasionally some bugs where the enemy AI would get stuck riding their horse in place, or sometimes even move around in circles like they're chasing butterflies. During stealth kills, enemy weapons will also sometimes spin and flip around the ground at super speeds. What else? Oh, right. When people talk, their lips are only synced to the English language. So if you were playing it in Japanese and you were looking at their mouths, you'd notice pretty easily that their lips were still matching with the English subtitles. Observe.
私はとても
申してみろ。
私はとても幸せでございました。
You also auto-equip the last armor you upgraded at a blacksmith, making you unnecessarily go into your inventory to equip back to what you had on before. Sometimes, when you have to travel somewhere to talk to a certain character, you can still find their same character model walking around where you already are. Norio! Norio! Where art thou, Norio? Oh, hey, Norio! What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the cemetery burying your, spoils? Hey, Norio! You will not believe who I just saw today! And lastly, this is a very small island in real life. So why is the environment and climate in the game so varied? One day you'll be exploring a forest with grassy plains. Then next, you'll be freezing your balls off in the snowy north, when in reality, these areas are only a few miles apart. Also, Why is one sliver of this island always fall? You can clearly see fall and winter happening at the same time from a distance. What kind of magical wizard bullshit is this? Anyway, that's all there is wrong with Ghost of... yeah. I'm gonna go back up to the cellar now and enjoy a nice slimy fish head dinner. Bye! Hope you enjoy the rest of the review and have a pleasant good night!
Sorry about doing that again, guys. I'm just trying to get the most out of my failed clone. Alright, now it's time to spend the rest of the video praising the fuck out of this game. Ghost of Tsushima is a fictional take on the 1274 Mongolian invasion of Japan. You play as Jin, heir to the Sakai clan, and the last remaining samurai on Tsushima Island after surviving a lost battle to the Mongols and their leader Khotan Khan, grandson of Genghis. Your main goal of the game is to rescue your uncle, Lord Shimura, from captivity and stop the Khan from reaching mainland Japan. Sounds a bit simple and predictable, right? Well, yeah, it is. What this game does right for its story, though, is its very well written and likable characters, and plenty of moral points that Jin must face throughout. Should he stay faithful to the samurai code, defeating the enemy in honorable battle even if it means defeat against overwhelming odds, or break the code and learn to stalk and kill the enemy like a thief, a dirty trickster, someone who will go as far as using their own weapons against them as a more effective means of infiltration and destruction? You don't really get much of a choice during the actual story, but it's something Jin comes to terms with when he knows it means saving his country and those he loves, thus, over time, becoming the Ghost of Tsushima. There is a lot at stake in this game, and I really felt the emotion that other characters were bearing during this time of losing their homes and their families, because of the excellent character development and build-up to their own each individual story, as well as flashbacks. Even the random encounters and side quests in this game all feel very meaningful and impactful, the best of its kind I've seen since The Witcher 3. Now, as with most standard open-world games, you know what to expect with this one. You eliminate enemy outposts to unfog most of the map, and then go around clearing out all those question marks. I know this has been a very recycled and unoriginal game design ever since Far Cry 3 did it, way back in 2012, but this is one of few games I honestly enjoyed myself with the busy work. And aside from the ones where you have to follow foxes around for like a whole damn minute to find, every hidden shrine to pray at, I really didn't mind going for everything else. I like the ones where you collect different weapon skins by visiting honor shrines, or using your trusty grappling hook to swing and climb your way up to old ancient shrines. There are also these bamboo strikes where you have to press the correct button shown increasingly fast to get a clean cut through all 7 of them. These are hard as hell to pull off sometimes and require a lot of practice, precision, and patience, but that's what makes them feel very rewarding to accomplish. There are activating lighthouses, which I admit are pretty mundane and not really sure why they're there. My favorites, though, are the ones that connect the player into Jin's mind, where he reflects on certain aspects in his life, like meditating in the hot spring, thinking about family, events, or even favorite foods. There are also ones where he reflects on certain states of mind, and he uses the environments to write these little poems, or haiku in this case. These are both incredibly beautiful and relaxing forms of collectibles and activities that makes these pieces of busy work, so to speak, definitely worthwhile.
ただなりて倒れし武者に草を折る おかしからずや一睡の夢
Perhaps the biggest reason why I really enjoyed so much of my time exploring Tsushima, though, are the visuals. From watching the guiding wind blow leaves around to watching the tides of the ocean hit the shore, this may be the most visually beautiful and colorful game I've ever seen. And it's also aesthetically very breathtaking as well. So much detail and passion really went into recreating this place and time. I really did feel like I was a warrior in that time period. Real shit. Like, I honestly don't think I've ever been this fully immersed in any open world setting prior. I am also absolutely in love with this black and white mode, a throwback to those old Akira Kurosawa samurai films, even complete with the film grain you see constantly glittering across the screen. It just makes the game feel even more gritty and authentic when this is turned on.
裏切り者の菅笠衆死であがなうがよい侍なぞ本物の武人とは言えぬ我らが武勲を抜け抜けと盗む野党も同然覚悟しろかかってこい
I was really surprised by how awesome the combat is in general. Over time, you will learn different stances by observing and killing leaders of groups throughout the island that are effective against staggering certain types of enemies like shields, spears, and brutes. I didn't like it at first, only because of how challenging it was due to being really low level and not having much health, armor, charms, bonuses, techniques, or even those other stances. However, you will hardly feel like the enemy will level up with you. The more you level up and learn, the more of an unstoppable badass you feel over time, eventually becoming this feared, unstoppable killing machine legend. You'll be able to slaughter and behead high-ranking soldiers to scare moguls away, and use this awesome Ghost Rage mode to be able to kill up to 3 guys with 1 deadly slash each. It really goes to show that when you level up, you really feel like you're leveling up. You can also challenge surrounding Mongols to a standoff, where you have to wait until the right moment to counter their strikes. And these do get increasingly harder over time simply because later enemies will try to bait you into attacking too early. And of course, quest or activity related one-on-one duels where these fights actually feel like proper boss fights. As far as stealth goes, this game does borrow a lot of Assassin's Creed's ideas. You'll hide in tall grass, you can assassinate from above, as well as being able to chain assassinate up to 3 guards at a time. You can even perform shoji assassinations where you kill someone standing on the other side of a sliding screen door, which always feels so cool. And of course, what kind of stealth game would this be without having the tools to manipulate the AI, like using wind charms to distract enemies or to lure them over, poison darts, or even hallucination darts to confuse and turn them against each other, which is always a really fun trick to pull. Wearing armor that best suits your playstyle, whether for combat or stealth, is always a nice option to have as well. Using a bow is also a very helpful weapon for both combat and stealth purposes, like silently taking out someone from far away, or shooting environmental hazards that will cripple those that stand near them, or flaming arrows to, you know. And I'm sure I'm forgetting to mention a lot more that you can use at your disposal, but my point is, you'll have so much to play with in this game. It is so much fun mixing up between combat and stealth. Before I wrap up this review, I do want to mention some random nice finishing touches here and there. I like how you can buy different colors for your armors with, flowers that you find out in the wild. And there's even a black dye merchant who can make you look like a real ninja. I liked how I was able to choose a name for my horse. Nobu, which means trust, and that bond that you develop throughout. And you can also change the color of your horse's saddle as well by trading in certain collectibles. This game probably has the fastest load screens I've ever seen for an open world game, maybe even faster than Witcher 3's. It literally only takes a few seconds to fast travel a good 2 kilometers. I like how talking to various NPCs with little bubbles over their heads will reveal certain locations or side quests on the map, which can kind of be comparable to inn rumors in other adventure or role-playing games. Finishing off fallen enemies with a stab and ending their painful suffering is always so gratifying. I also love being able to kick people off to their deaths. And I also appreciate how you can increase storage capacity of various thrown and ranged objects by trading animal skins to trappers, though that can just be included in your general progression topic, as well as upgrading your blades and armors with stuff. And last but not least, though, having little dialogue choices here and there was also really cool. The game even has 2 different endings.
怖いか？
いえ、そんなこと少しだけ。姉さんもあなたも怖いもの知らずでしょ。
まだわからんだろうが、誰しも怖い時はある。ユナもな。
あなたも？
ああ。叔父上が捕らえられた時、家族を失うかと恐ろしかった。だからユナの不安もわかる。
姉さんには何度も救われた。
俺もだ。
Not only was Ghost of Tsushima so much fun to play throughout the vast majority of the 50 plus hours I spent with it, it was also an incredibly epic, breathtaking, and emotionally driven journey as a whole, and has especially set the new standard in terms of how visually enhanced games of this size can be for the next generation coming up. It is simply a phenomenal gaming experience that I doubt I'll ever forget, and despite the lip sync problem, I still don't regret playing the whole thing in Japanese to get that full effect of immersion. I don't even think there should be an English option. Who the hell spoke English in Japan during the 13th century? My final score for this game is the highest possible I can give it in its current state. Ghost of Tsushima easily earns an amazing 9 out of 10. Hands down my favorite game of the year so far. I feel like the only people I wouldn't recommend this to are those who simply flat out hate the open world formula with a flaming fucking passion. This game doesn't pretend to cut corners. It's exactly what it set out to be, and I feel like anyone who has always wanted an Assassin's Creed in Japan needs to pick this one up. Now. But for me, it's more than just that. And I'm not saying that just because I'm not confident Ubisoft could have pulled it off this well, as much as Sucker Punch has. This is simply the most engrossed I've ever been inside a game in a very long time. It's actually the first game since Hellblade that made me shed a tear. Whether that's because it was sad as hell or just that beautiful to look at is nobody's business but me. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. I don't think I have anything else planned for videos at all next month, but surprises do happen, so Until next time, I'll see you later, and thank you for watching.
The Gamer Gods!
Oh boy, it's my lucky day! A hot spring in the snow! Whoa, nope, still too cold.